Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Nise Learns to Tarot, and I am Nise, your hostess with the mostest, head weirdo, lead dork, and goofball extraordinaire. So yeah, we're back with another video today, and this is going to be kind of an interesting, different kind of video than I normally do. It's going to be sort of an express my opinion sort of video, and I may have some unpopular opinions, but we're going to do it anyway. I wasn't going to say anything about this, but I kind of feel like I want to kind of chime in just a little bit as an experienced YouTuber. Now, I know my channel is new. This channel is new, but I am no stranger to making YouTube videos, and you know, let me tell you, I've seen some crap going on over the years. Yeah, I'll kind of give you my background on YouTube and what I did on YouTube and so forth. But anyway, before I get started with this, if you like my content, and I hope you still do after seeing this video, if you like my content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Also hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I do upload. Hit that like button, give this video a thumbs up. That would do me a total solid. And also leave a comment and tell me what you guys think. But please, please, please be respectful, because I don't put up with I don't put up with like hater comments. I don't put up with just total, you know, awful stuff. Yeah, so if I deem that the comment needs to be removed, I will remove it, and I know how to use block and delete. So I haven't had to do it on this channel, but I know how to do it, and I can certainly do it. So, you know, please remember that we are adults and that you don't have to get mean. You may disagree with what someone says, and that's fine. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion. But there is something called respect and common courtesy, and I ask that you please exercise that if you are going to make a comment on the things that I'm going to say in this video. So I have my tea here because this may get a little bit long. I'll try not to make a total career out of this, but I'll try to go over a few points. And what I thought we would do while I talk is I thought we would just kind of flip through a few of my decks that I have. That way you guys have something pretty to look at while I yammer at you. We're going to look at the Muse Tarot. This is a mass market deck, and I've had this in my collection for probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, I think. This is really pretty. This is a really, really pretty deck. I really, really, really like this deck. And it does have a beautiful guidebook that goes along with it. Okay, so I won't do a total flip through of the guidebook, but we will. This isn't a walkthrough per se. This is just me flipping through the cards and showing you the deck while I talk, so you guys have something pretty to look at. So here are the back of the cards. There's what they look like. Very nice. And I don't mod my decks. I don't edge them. I don't trim them. I leave them as is. Anyway, what we're going to talk about today is there seems to be a stink being raised about, like, I guess, consumerism in the tarot community, and going into, like, you know, which kind of goes into the number of decks that people are purchasing and the number of decks in a person's collection, and I guess income inequality kind of stuff, you know, issues, as well as opinions on decks, you know, being given out for review. Okay, so I'm going to try to touch on a lot of this as much as I can without rambling too much. Easier said than done, I know, but we'll try our best. So I wanted to chime in here as an experienced YouTuber. I have done YouTube channels in varying areas of interest. I started out in 2011 with a Sims gameplay channel. I have my, and that channel is still up, but it's not very active anymore. My viewership kind of over there is, you know, I had my fun in the sun, and I've kind of faded off into the sunset. Because my viewership went down when number one, my viewership went down when a new incarnation of The Sims came out, and then I have moved on to other things, Sims related, as well as, you know, other things outside of that. So I will do the very, very occasional video over there. Granted, it's not going to be very often. It isn't very often, but I do get an itch every now and again to, you know, do like a little current household video or something. So I've had that since 2011. And then I've also got my main channel, which is Nise's Sanctuary. That's where I do like adult coloring book stuff, planners, journals, the occasional fountain pen, crafting, you know, that kind of thing. And then of course here, which is a new channel. And then I have another channel, which is a doll collecting channel. I collect different types of dolls. I have what's called reborn babies. I won't get into what that is. You can do some research and look that up. But basically it's a hyper realistic looking doll to resemble a baby. It's made out of vinyl with that's stuffed and weighted to kind of feel very realistic in your arms. I also have like some Cabbage Patch Kids and a smattering of American Girls, as well as a good collection of vintage Barbies and stuff. And so anyway, I've seen just quite a lot of crap going on in YouTube over the years, you know, from either an outsider in a community, like, for example, you know, maybe the beauty community, because you know, years ago I used to watch a lot of like makeup tutorials. And I'd kind of heard through the grapevine that there was a lot of drama going on in that community. There's definitely drama that goes on in the doll collecting world. And I have had, I try not to start anything, but like I've had, you know, over on my main channel, I mean, I've had, you know, I've had my share of difficulties too. And I'll have to tell you guys my stalker story one day. That'll be for another video. But yeah, I had a crazy stalker. So that is the Muse Tarot. I had a crazy stalker who just would not leave me alone a few years ago. And then of course my Sims channel, which, you know, the gaming community, oh boy, that's a kettle of fish that is quite the interesting thing going on over there. But anyway, I've seen a lot of crap going on YouTube. So touching on like the consumerism stuff, YouTube, let me go ahead and grab another deck to look at and I will continue. Okay, this is the Thelema Tarot, which is another recent edition I got. It's a mass market. It's a beautiful deck, of course. Don't remember if I showed it in a haul, but anyway, going on to the whole consumerism thing. And oh yeah, I mean, there is so much of that going on. YouTube is just the perfect outlet for triggering or enabling that. Like it's kind of like the 21st century's follow-up to like Home Shopping Network and QVC. Because if you guys remember back in the day, you know, QVC and HSN, and I don't even know if those channels are still around. I don't know, because we don't get cable anymore. We cut the cord like back in 2018. But you know, there's definitely clips of stuff on YouTube, you know, of like home HSN stuff and stuff that you can look at. But you know, they were brilliant at the way they marketed stuff, because, you know, they'd have their show collection, you know, whether it's like jewelry or whatever it is that they were showing. And it was done in such a way that it makes the watcher, you know, want to just pick the phone right up. You know, this is long before the internet. And you could also do, you know, when the internet came about, you could order stuff from like HSN and QVC on the internet. But back in the day, like in the 80s when all this started, you had to pick up here's the back of the cards. You had to pick up, wait a minute, that's the title card. Here is the back of the cards. That's what they look like. Okay, here we go. So you had to pick the phone right up and dial in to order this particular product or the collection, and they're going to tell you there's only such and such left, you better grab it while you can, you know, kind of thing. And they were brilliant at the way they marketed it, because it was designed for, you know, people to do like impulse buying. And you know, you couldn't really sit on it and think about it, because they you know, and I don't know how true this was, but I'm sure they probably only had like so many in stock. And, you know, it was just crazy just how quickly the numbers were going up as to like how many orders there were, you know, being sold of this particular item or whatnot. And so anyway, it was designed to make people do impulse buying. And YouTube, you know, in a way it's kind of the same thing because, you know, maybe people don't mean it to be that way, but it happens that way because, like, let's say you go on YouTube and you see this really, really cool, like, indie deck, for example, that just came out, or, you know, you're seeing somebody that got their Kickstarter order in and they were very excited about it, you know, and they're dying to show it, you know, off to their subscribers, and they're, you know, they're just so in love with this deck. Okay. And so when they show it off, you know, people are going to see that and they're going to be like, oh yeah, I gotta have it, you know, and so then they'll order their copy, and it you know, it turns into a big chain reaction. And so, you know, when something is being shown, it kind of enables that virtual trip to the, you know, you know, the tarot deck store, or the you know, the coloring book store, or the jewelry store, you know, kind of thing. You know, I mean, you could, you know, this holds true for so, you know, many areas of interest. And so it happens. And so people tend to see something, you know, whether it's in a collection video or a haul video or a walkthrough, and they go onto the page, you know, the Amazon page or the Kickstarter page or the Etsy page or whatever, and they will go ahead and snap up their copy of, you know, whatever it is that they're going to buy. Okay. That's sort of the, you know, it happens. It's happened to me as a watcher, you know, as a follower of certain channels. You know, I've seen something and I've, you know, pulled the trigger like right away. I try to sit on it for a little bit nowadays though and think about it, you know, because I can be very much an impulse buyer at times. So, you know, you got to kind of like, I have to kind of keep myself in check, quite a bit, because like I could have the tendency to go off the deep end. We, like, for example, my husband and I are collectors of fountain pens, and we go to the Chicago Pen Show every year, and we tend to go hog wild over there. You know, it's our one show that we go to each year, and you know, we were very well behaved this year though, but you know, we tend to go a little bit crazy, let's just say. And so it can be hard to find that off button. So I know how I am, you know, as a consumer. I know how I am, and there are times that I have to just kind of take a step back and just go, wait a minute, hold the phone, what? And even to the point where I have to kind of step back and not even look at stuff anymore, because like, when I see it, I get the big eye, and yeah, you know, it's kind of like the saying goes, I see it, I want it, I whine about it, eventually I get it, you know, kind of thing. And oh my gosh, like that has been so true in so many ways. Okay guys, we are back, and I got something else for us to look at. This is the Cosmic Slumber. So anyway, as I was starting to say before I grabbed this deck, is going on to the next thing. I totally understand the argument, the feeling of a certain amount of inequality, like an imbalance of like advantage or whatever, you know, whatever you want to call it. Like, I get it, whether it's due to trying to get the guidebook out of here. Whether it is due to like feeling like you, to fit in, like you have to get like the higher priced stuff, or you know, and can't afford that, you know, due to like income, or you know, certain channels being catered to in terms of here's the back of them. I've had this deck for a while. Certain channels getting, you know, catered to, or getting special attention because you know, they get like so many products for review and such. So I mean, there's so many levels of of feeling like disadvantaged or feeling like there's this imbalance of equality. I mean, I get it. I have experienced it myself as a YouTuber. My biggest example, and I'll kind of tell you why. My biggest example in that, and it didn't have anything to do with this area of interest, but when I was making Sims videos, when the Sims 3 was in its peak, each Sims game has expansion packs that you can get, that the company, puts out from time to time. And for Sims 3, they also had what was called the Sims 3 store, which is extra downloadable content that you could purchase separately. And when I was doing all that and making my videos regularly, I saw a lot of favoritism going on, and I still do. I saw a lot of favoritism going on, a lot of catering to certain channels where they would get they would get certain perks, like they were getting invited to events that the company would host, like different conventions, different events, different product release promos, kind of thing. And they would also get like free packs and things like that too. And there was back in the day, if there was this certain channel that you pretty much had to like worship this channel if you wanted to be anybody in the Sims world. And in turn, which, I mean, that was outside of the company, but that's another issue. But, in terms of how I felt disadvantaged, especially by the creators of the game, the powers that be, who were in charge of like the social stuff. Okay. Where I felt disadvantaged was I sunk a lot of money into that game. I sunk a lot of money into that game. I've sunk a lot of money into The Sims in general because I have every stinking one of the expansion packs, every stinking one of the stuff packs. I got, I own pretty much like 99.9, I think, percent of the Sims 3 store. There may be a couple of items that I don't have because it was limited edition and I missed out on getting it, because I wasn't playing Sims at that time or whatever. That was before my time in joining The Sims. And so I would take my time. I sunk a lot of money into the whole Sims franchise, really. And Sims 3, I got the extra downloadable content, and I took the time to review, this content all on my own, after purchasing the content, whether it was the stuff pack, the expansion pack, or the store downloads or whatever. And I would take that time and do a review, out of the goodness of my heart. Because I was very passionate about the game. I love the game. I still love the game. But what really griped me was there were certain peoples that were getting this and that handed to them by the company. And, I asked to be included on some of the stuff. And it was always the same people who were getting catered to. And basically what I was told, because I wasn't as active on their social media, because like I didn't sit on like say Facebook or their Twitter channel, I would not be included, which is total BS because I had quite a following over on YouTube at that time. But because I didn't live on Facebook or social media, I didn't get the time of day. I didn't even get so much as a thank you for spending my money, our money, our household money, to indulge my Sims hobby and to take the time to make these review videos and stuff. I did not even get so much as a thank you, for doing what I was doing, let alone any kind of discount on anything, let alone an invite to anything. I didn't even get so much as a thank you, from the creators that made this game. And I later kind of found out that there was a lot of, I guess, age discrimination going on. I was not one of these like young gamer kids, you know, that you see on a lot of gamer channels. And I, you know, was a much older Sims player. At the time I was in my 30s. Yeah, I'm dating myself. I was in my 30s and I'm making Sims videos. And I mean, I made them fun, you know, I made them fun, but at the same time, I was not one of these annoying kids who made stupid voices and who screamed into their microphone all the time and who just, you know, acted like a bunch of juvenile delinquents. You know, that was not my thing. And so because, and also because I didn't allow a bunch of arguing and cussing and stuff in the comment sections of my video. So because I had standards, I guess, call it standards, you know, I had my standards because I had my standards. I was left out on a lot of things. And so, yeah, that left a very, very bitter taste in my mouth. Fast forward a little bit, you know, a few years after that, my time in the sun kind of faded off. My viewership went down when the next incarnation of the game came about, and they, you know, the creators kind of like redid their program and all that. And so as time went on, you know, more and more favoritism was going on, more and more, you know, I guess call it a monopoly. I don't know if monopoly is the right word, but again, you know, the same people were catered to time and time again. They didn't even get early access to the new packs coming out. And I just kind of got to the point, and again, you know, because my viewership was falling off, I just got to the point that, you know what, it's BS, you know, screw it. And I just came to the conclusion that, you know what, I'm glad that I don't have that pressure, because I kind of have the feeling, and I heard through the grapevine, that if you're going to be like one of their favorite sons or daughters, like, you know, if you're going to get like all this, the perks and the early access and stuff, and, you know, if you get the packs and stuff in exchange for the review, the walkthrough and all that, you better give them a good review if you want to stay on that list. Even, you know, even if the pack may be crap, you can't say it's crap. You can't do that. So this kind of leads into like, you know, what you like, how people feel when they get products for review. And I'll get into that in just a minute. But yeah, I kind of feel like they, you know, the creators and they have embargoes, like you're not allowed to show content until like they say you can. Because of like release days and how they have it sort of lined up in their campaign and all that, you know. But I have this sneaking suspicion that if you're going to stay on their list, if you're going to be a favorite progeny, you have to give them a glowing review if you want to stay on that list. Because if you say the pack is crap, or if you say that, oh, you know, something doesn't seem right, yeah, you're gonna get thrown by the, you're gonna get your ass kicked to the curb. So yeah. So at that point, I was relieved that I actually didn't get on that list, because I don't want to have to perform a certain way. I don't want to have to say things that I may not mean. And I don't want to have to be under some kind of pressure to do this or that. I just want to, you know, I got to the point that I just wanted to just purchase the packs and just enjoy the game and make my videos the way I want to make them. And I'm not obligated to anyone to say certain things that I don't want to say, or to act a certain way that is uncomfortable for me. So yeah, but that, you know, that's my big spiel. Like when I was doing my Sims videos, how I felt like I was at a disadvantage, and I get it. Like I understand okay, I'm going to go grab another deck, and then I will continue. Okay, next we're going to look at the Gentle Heart Tarot. This is an indie deck by Bow Life, or Vanessa. I cannot pronounce her last name to save my soul, but I guess she has a YouTube channel, and she's got other decks that she's created. And this is very beautiful. I've had this for a couple of years now, and I really, really enjoy this one. And it also came with this velvet pouch. It says Bow Life. I think that is her company name. But yeah. So anyway, let's look at that. So I totally get the feeling of being singled out in a good way, in a bad way, you know, where you feel like you are disadvantaged in one way, shape, or form. And, you know, well, let's face it, money talks too. I mean, money talks. And getting into, I guess, like, okay, this has got some very nice gilding, you know, getting into where feeling disadvantaged due to, like, there's the backs of them, where you can't, like, in your income or your, you know, your situation where you feel that you where you feel that you can't indulge in, like, some higher priced, you know, an item of a higher price point, whether you can't afford it, you know, and that's legitimate, or where you feel that you just can't justify it. And I know for myself, like, for a long time, I could not justify, like, I love the idea of supporting an independent artist. I believe in supporting a smaller business, but the price points of getting an independently published product was a bit higher than I was willing to pay at that time in my life. I've kind of since changed my tune a bit, as you can see, because I do have, I am growing my collection of indie decks, but for a long time, I just couldn't justify it, because this was sort of a fledgling hobby for me. But I get that, you know, there are people who legitimately cannot afford, you know, a large collection of whatever it is that they want to collect, or an item in a collection that is at a higher price point. And that's that's unfortunate. I know how that feels, because when I was growing up, my family didn't have very much at all. And, you know, I felt very disadvantaged. And, you know, when you're a kid or a teenager growing up and you want so desperately to fit in, and, you know, you can't have, like, what the cool kids are having, it's tough. And then, you know, fast forward years later, you know, my position changed, and I can, you know, within reason, of course, indulge my hobbies. And I have, oh my gosh, I have many hobbies, and I have to pick and choose what I can focus on at a given time, and how much I can indulge, you know, how much we can comfortably indulge, you know. Like, take for example, our fountain pen collections. Like, you know, we have to figure out, like, at the pen shows, and we just, you know, we go to the one pen show every year, and we have indulged quite a lot over the years. In fact, it's funny, because we make this joke that we have, that when we come in the door, there's a sign on our forehead that says "sucker." And we've actually had vendors come up to us. We've actually had vendors come up to us and come and look at our table. I have some stuff that I think you're going to love. So yeah, you know, sucker. And so, I mean, I get it. But, and we can't do that all the time. Like, we save that for, we saved that for the pen show. But we were very, very well behaved this year. So we're, like, still patting ourselves on the back for that one. But, you know, in all seriousness, I mean, there's, you know, not everybody is at that same level where they can indulge in ways that other people can. And, you know, I understand, because, you know, again, growing up, our family didn't have much, you know, but, you know, getting older, you know, fast forward some years later, my position changed, and I have, you know, more freedom to be able to, indulge in my hobbies. And but because I do have a number of hobbies, I have to kind of pick and choose like what I focus on at a given time, which is understandable, you know. It's only in The Sims that money grows on trees, you know. And yeah, so you have to kind of pick and choose your stuff. And you do have to find an off switch. At the same time, however, and there's so much to talk about here. I get, the feeling of the inequality. I understand. Unfortunately, oh my gosh, that goes around in so many communities. I have seen, just some real like crap going on, like let's say in the doll community where there's a lot of snobby people that if you don't have the caliber of doll in your collection that they do, they won't give you the time of day. It's what it is to me. It's just a bunch of high school crap. It's like the high school kind of clique mentality going on. And you see that all the time in so many different areas of interest. Yeah. Like, for example, like when I had started my doll channel, and I still get this too. Like there's certain people that just will not give me the time of day because I'm not in the cool kids clique. And I refuse. And first of all, I refuse. Second of all, I cannot spend X amount of money on, a creation done by a prototype artist. I don't have that kind of money to indulge in that. And that's the way it is. And I have to be thankful and grateful for what I can do, because I can do certain things, but there's certain things that I cannot do. And if I get treated like crap by certain people because I can't or choose not to indulge in a certain way, well, you know what? They're not worth my time, and they're missing out on getting to know what kind of person I am, which I think I'm a fun and nice person. Thank you very much. And if they can't give me the time of day because I don't do certain things, a certain way that they feel that you must if you're going to be in their little circle, screw it. I don't need to be part of that circle. It's not for me. And I just, I do what I can do. I do what I feel I can do. And that's just the way it is. All right, let me go grab another one and we'll keep going. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and look at the Spacious Tarot. This is an indie deck. I don't think I've shown this one on my channel, but those of us who've been around for a little bit know of this deck. This deck is quite popular. It's a favorite of a lot of people, and I love this one too. I love it. I love it. So this has a really nice guidebook to go along with it. I think there's a digital version of it too, as well as an audio version, which the creators have read, which I have in MP3 format, which is very helpful. So going back to the whole inequality thing, I mean, I get it. I totally understand. Here's the backs of these. I totally understand the feeling of unfair advantage. I get it. Been there, done that. And I think we all, to a certain degree, at some point in our life, at one stage in our life, we have felt that. Like, even now, like there's times in my life where, I look at people and, like, especially the rich ones, and, I get jealous that, gee, it must be nice to just be able to jump on a plane anytime you damn well want and go to Hawaii or the Bahamas, and you can spend your winters like in Florida because you got this property there. And here I am stuck in stinking Illinois when there's like 3 feet of snow on the ground and it's like 50 below zero. I'm exaggerating, I know. But I mean, you kind of get my drift, and it's like, man, it must be nice. But, it's not in our lifestyle to be able to do that. And But on, you know, at the other hand, yeah, I wish it was. I desperately wish it was, because I hate winters here. I absolutely freaking hate the Midwest, especially in the wintertime. And, you know, and even like in, you know, you travel around here and like all you see is cornfields. Like all we have around here is cornfields. And we don't live in like a beautiful part of the country. You know, you go to like other places and it's just so pretty. It's like, oh, but the way, and when I get into that mindset, I have to tell myself, I have to kind of check myself, and I have to tell myself, yeah, that is unfortunate. However, and there's always like pros and cons to everything. However, there is still a lot to be grateful for. Yeah, I can't do a certain thing, but we own our own home. We don't have a mortgage anymore. We own our home, free and clear. We have, you know, we have a lot that, you know, some people don't have. Like we have a really, really nice big backyard that we can enjoy. We have a deck that we can sit on outside. We have, like our house, we're able to take our 2 extra spare bedrooms, and I have my sanctuary in here. My husband has his little man cave kind of across the little hallway from me. So we both have our spaces, you know, so we're very, very grateful to that. And so, yeah, we don't own multiple properties, but the property that we do own, you know, we're very proud of, and, you know, we're blessed and thankful that we have what we have. So yeah, you could gripe about what is lacking in your life. And believe me, it is human nature to do that. And believe me, oh man, you know, I get my times. I have my moments where it's like, oh, geez, you know, but then I have to realize that we are blessed. Basically, what you have to remember is that there's always somebody who has it better than you, but there's also somebody who has it so much worse than you. So yeah, unfortunately, there is unfair advantages going on, and that's life. You know, that's life, and that's life. You get unfair advantages, and so you have to get a little creative sometimes, and kind of figure out how to take advantage of what you can take advantage of. And, you know, I hope that makes sense, but just, you know, one thing you got to remember is, and like I said, there's people much better off than you are. I can't go globetrotting anytime I want to go globetrotting. I can't like take off and go to like, you know, the Bahamas or whatever, like when the first snowflakes fall. I wish I could, but I can't. And I have to remember that, what we have here is something that a lot of people don't have. I mean, you know, there's some people that, you know, that are stuck living in a small apartment that they got to pay horrible rent prices every month. Yeah, that's oh gosh, that's another thing. I feel so bad for those people. I do. Oh my gosh. But, you know, we're very blessed, in my opinion. And, so I'm thankful for what we do have, even though I have my gripes. I do gripe. But, you know, again, like when you feel the need to gripe, just remember what you do have and you know, find something to be thankful for. You know, maybe find something to be thankful for every day that you can focus on, like when your spirits kind of go low, you know, because you may not have that advantage that someone else has. It's hard, guys. I know it's hard. It is so hard. You know, especially like when you get yourself into a box, it is so hard to get out of. I mean, really, I totally understand. I get it. And, you know, I'll tell you my real life situation here. I mean, this is like outside of YouTube. This is outside of not being able to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak. Like, okay, let me go let's go grab another deck, and we'll flip through and I will continue with what I started. Okay, we will look at Song of the Grandmothers, or Songs of the Grandmothers. This is an oracle, and this was done by the same person who made the Gentle Tarot. This deck is so pretty. I think this is a newer creation, and I didn't get it when it first came out, but I think it'd been out for a little bit. I don't remember if I pre-ordered this, but it's really pretty. So anyway, getting into my real life situation. Here's the back of these. So pretty. So anyway, my real life situation, and this is outside of YouTube. This is outside of feeling disadvantaged in a financial way, in a lifestyle way. Well, I guess this kind of would go along with lifestyle because this is my reality like every single day. I have a pretty significant, well, very significant, quite severe visual impairment. I do have, I can't see, and let me kind of tell you what went on. I was born with a condition called optic nerve atrophy, which is where my optic nerves didn't develop the way they should. So I was born with this. I was born with this condition, although we didn't know about it until I was like 6 months old. That's another story. So anyway, my eyesight, my eyesight is freaking atrocious. So I have to adapt in certain ways that a lot of people, would never even consider. I have no eyesight at all in my left eye. And my right eye, for me to read stuff, like for me to like say, look at these cards, like to see what they're saying, to look at the imagery, I have to bring, let me kind of, and I'll show you with my face here if you can. I have to bring my cards, up to, or my book, my cards, whatever it is that I'm trying to look at. I have to bring it up very, very close to my face. I'll try to get where you can kind of see me here. I have to bring it very, very close to my face, squint a little bit sometimes, and, to be able to even, see this. Okay. And oh my gosh, the other day, and I'm going to get a little sidetracked, but the other day, this was so funny. I was watching, I think it was Carrie's Mystic Musings or something like that. I think that's her channel name, but Carrie's Musings. I think some of you may know who she is, but anyway, she was kind of poking fun at herself a little bit. Was it last week? I think it was when she was doing like a show and tell, and she was saying that she has to kind of, she was showing off like a little bitty card deck. I think it was, oh geez, I can't remember what the name of it was, but it was a little teeny weeny itty bitty deck of cards, and so there were words and stuff on it, but they were so tiny that she had to bring the cards up, pretty close to, to see what she was doing. So she said something like, what do you call it when you gotta kind of slide your arm, back and forth to, when you got to slide your arm back and forth. She says, is that playing the trombone? And I busted up. I mean, I freaking cracked up. I actually had to stop the video for a few minutes because I was dying. You guys, I was dying because, well, number one, I could appreciate sort of the musical humor because I'm a classically trained singer, and I've been a private music and teacher since like 1995. Taught voice, taught beginning piano, taught flute lessons, and so I mean I could appreciate the the musical humor. So I knew exactly the movements for the trombone. I don't play trombone, but I get it. And then I was laughing because, oh my gosh, like that is so me. That is so me, because like I am constantly taking my whatever it is I'm taking and going zoop, so I mean I was dying. And so I made a comment on her video, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so me. And I didn't explain like the whole like visual impairment thing, but I just said I have a pretty significant visual impairment, and so that is so me because like I have to bring things up very, very, very close to be able to see. And so that is my reality. Like I have to, I'm so grateful that I have the eyesight that I do have, but it can get very frustrating because I cannot drive. I cannot see well enough to drive. You do not want me behind the wheel. Stay off the sidewalks and out of the trees, let me tell you. And I try to keep a good sense of humor because, I mean, you have to, you have to. And, so I can, I can joke around. And now if someone is being like blatantly mean or, like making fun of me or something, yeah, I don't appreciate that. And, oh my gosh, like I could tell you about like all the times I was like bullied when I was younger, because I was from a small town and being the only kid in school that has this like visual impairment. Yeah, I stuck out like a sore thumb. And so, I was the target for a lot of crap that went on. But, anyway, getting back to, how I've had to adapt and being disadvantaged. You talk about being disadvantaged. Okay. I can't drive. I cannot drive. I wish, and that is the most frustrating thing to me about this. I mean, I'm 50 years old. I know I'm dating myself. Never ask a woman how old she is, but I'm volunteering my age. So, I mean, I've lived with this for 50 years, because I was born with this. And so, I mean, I've had to learn to adapt and cope over the years, and I've had to learn to do things differently. I've just had to, there's blank cards to be able to customize if you want. I had no choice in the matter. And, so you talk about being disadvantaged. Okay. Because I can't drive. There's things that are very much a challenge for me. There's things that I can do that take me a lot longer than what it would take most people. Like, for example, even reading a book, for a book that is regular font size, like I have these really big, thick Coke bottle glasses, and I have what's called a CCTV that I can put the material under, where it kind of, there's a camera that'll zoom in and kind of blow it up larger on a monitor. So, I mean, there's aids I have to kind of help me out in my life. But the fact is that even just reading a book, even just opening up a book and reading it, I'm a very slow reader. Now, my reading comprehension, it didn't impair my reading comprehension. I mean, I always scored very, very high, like on English and reading comprehension stuff. But the fact is that I cannot read a book as fast as what most people can read. It takes me probably maybe, let's say, 3 times longer for me to read a book than it would the average person. That's just the way it is. So like in school, I always had to get extra time, like on my tests. I spent more time doing my homework at home because, again, it just took me longer to do it because of my eyesight. So yeah, I was very disadvantaged in my life in terms of that, but I got on, I coped. And I learned to be very thankful for what I did have, for the eyesight that I did have, because hell, I could have been totally blind. Which meant that I wouldn't have been able to play The Sims, which would have meant that I wouldn't be able to see a sunset or a sunrise. I wouldn't be able to see colors. So yeah, I got a very, very unfair slap from life in that way. But and the frustrating thing for me is that I can't drive, and I hate having to depend on people for rides. I mean, my poor husband. My poor husband is the chauffeur, gopher, wallet, and gaffer. Because he's the gaffer, because like when I'd go to do my performances and stuff, he'd carry my equipment and stuff, and he was sort of my little roadie, my roadie. But he was also my chauffeur because he had to drive me, and he had and of course the wallet, money, honey, and we joke about that. And gopher, because like he would like, especially if I was in a new place and really didn't know where things were, like, you know, he'd go and get our drinks or whatnot, you know. So, I mean, my poor husband, but, you know, he almost 30 years of marriage, and you know, he's a trooper putting up with me, because like, if he hasn't figured out that I'm crazy, there's something wrong. But anyway, in all seriousness, I mean, I'm married to a good guy. He's you know, he's been very good to me over the years. So, I mean, I really can't complain about my life. I mean, you know, I'm very, very thankful for what I do have, the eyesight that I do have, because even though I have to do things, you know, in different ways, it may take me a little bit longer to do certain things. At least I can do them, and at least I can do many things. Now, there's things that I cannot do. I can't surf. My balance is horrible, but yeah, you need eyesight to be able to surf. And of course, I can't drive. I could never drive like a golf cart, like down the course and go, yahoo, you know. Okay, now I'm being silly, but I mean, you get my, I think hopefully you get the message. So yeah, I mean, we all feel disadvantaged in some way, shape, or form in our lives, but we are more advantaged than some people are. So again, it just goes back to, yeah, there are people who are worse off than we are, no matter who we are. But then there's also people who are in such worse, dire situations. Like, we read an article about life in North Korea, and it's just horrible. I can't imagine. I just can't imagine their life. I mean, life there is just horrible. I mean, you talk about being disadvantaged and income inequality. I mean, yeah, I mean, that's inequality to the nth degree right there. So that is my 2 cents worth on it. All right, we are going to look at the Gentle Tarot, and this is from the same creator who did the Songs of the Grandmothers, and I think this was Mari's, her name is Mari, she goes by Mari in the Sky, and I think this might have been like one of the first decks that she created. And I've heard so many people say with this deck, it's a favorite, and if there was only one deck they could have, it would be this one. And I mean, this is, I can see why. This is such a pretty deck, such a pretty deck. And so we'll look at this deck here. So it does come with this guidebook. I do have the full-size guidebook, which is kind of an expanded version of this, you know, where you know, it has all the material. But this is the book that the deck comes with. I will make another video and show you like all the editions of this deck that I do have, which I have 3. And then I'll show you the guidebook. But anyway, here are the backs of them. It's so pretty. And then the gilding is really lovely. It's like it kind of looks like a rose gold kind of color. Kind of like a darker gold, but it looks to me like kind of a rose gold. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at this. So the last point that I want to touch on is, and I kind of touched on it a little bit when I was talking about my Sims channel, but when you get, you know, when you're offered like perks or like products for review, because like you have a following on your social media, like on your YouTube, people are griping about that. And I've seen this gripe in many different communities, like, oh, well, you know, you got this product for review, and, you know, because you got it for free, can you be objective? And the answer is, the bottom line, the answer is no. Any review can't be totally objective, because people are going to have varying opinions on products. Like, For example, take a card deck. Not everybody's going to like the same deck of cards. So there's people that may hate it. And so they're gonna, if they reviewed it, if they looked at it, they're not gonna have anything good to say about it. And then there's gonna be people that absolutely love it and they see absolutely nothing wrong with it. So any kind of review is automatically subjective, not objective, because it's not concrete. You have, people have differing viewpoints. But you get to another level when you get something for free or at a discount or whatever. The tendency, and again, I've talked about this when I was talking about my Sims channel, and the people who got the perks, to be able to get like early access to things, to be able to get to go to the different events, different conventions, whatnot. I believe that they were pretty much told by the company that they better give a good review when they do the walkthrough, or you're not going to be on our favorites list, kind of thing. But that's, that's kind of on a big scale, I think. But on a smaller scale, like let's say you get a deck for free, to review. You get, say, a book, and I've been, on my other channel, I've been offered coloring books to review, where I've been sent copies of an adult coloring book to review and to flip through and all that. So the tendency is that when you get something to review, your mind, thinks about the generosity of, that particular person to allow you to do that, or ask you to do that, or like if you've come to them and asked if you could review something, the tendency is that you want to give it a good review. You want to lift them up and kind of support them so that other people can come over and get their product. And I think as a whole, people don't want to hurt someone's feelings. I get that. Is it so much so that they're going to like gush and go on about how good the product is, and it may not be, Yeah, I've seen that, I've totally seen that. And so, yeah, I mean, there's no way that you can be objective, like if you're offered something for review. I mean, the bottom line is no, you're not going to be objective. But reviews anyway are subjective no matter what, because it's not a concrete state of mind across all hobbyists. I hope that makes sense. So the bottom line is, do you watch a video knowing that the person who got something for free is going to weigh very heavily on the positive side? That's up to you. But if you choose to watch that video knowing that, then don't sit there and complain when that happens. If you want to see, excuse me, if you want to see a more, I guess, maybe even, or, maybe a more, say, balanced, or even where the scales kind of tip in the opposite direction a little bit, dig something else up. People tend to, like, if they buy something with their own money, people tend to kind of do the positives and the negatives that they see. And, I've done that. Like, when I've just kind of bought something, out of my own pocket, I definitely try to give it, a positive spin. I talk about like what I like about it. I mean, if I didn't like it, period, I wouldn't have got the product or whatever that I'm reviewing or that I bought to show. If I do get, now what I do, like when I get a review item, and this is on, of course, my main channel, because this channel is new, and I don't have enough of a following to get anything to to, you know, to review, which is fine. You know, I hope one day I will, but you know, I can be patient, and for now, I will do walkthroughs and stuff of whatever I decide to get. Let me go grab another one and I will be right back. Okay, this here is my True Black Tarot Anniversary Limited Edition, and I did do a walkthrough of this on my channel a while back ago. But we'll go ahead and we'll just go ahead and flip through it just because I had it handy. So we get the guidebook on top. This is a RWS clone, but oh my gosh, this deck is really nice. It's got the because it's a limited edition, it's got the card with the number of the number that it is. It's like 2214 out of, oh, what was it, like 3,000 created, I think. And then here is, we have like a little title card. Here's what the backs of it looks like. So getting back into reviewing, what I do, yeah, so I mean, if you want to find something that where it's more balanced, or you know, the scales are tipped in the opposite direction, where it's not all seeing things with rose-colored glasses, you might have to dig something else up. But you know, if you don't want to see a review or walkthrough, you know, don't watch it in the first place. Nobody's telling you, there we go, here's the back of it. Nobody's telling you to sit and watch something that you don't feel the need to watch. The only thing, if you're gonna watch something like that, knowing that you don't like those kinds of reviews, why the heck are you watching it in the first place, knowing that it's just going to piss you off? You know, unless you're the type of person who just wants to complain. You know, that's my take on it. And I know there's people who don't like walkthroughs in general, but I do. Like, if I'm going to purchase a product, I want to see walkthroughs. And I like to see a couple of different walkthroughs because people show it in a different way. People talk about it differently. Like, if I'm considering a deck, I will, the first person I look for is Lisa, you know, Lisa Pepez, love you, girlfriend. She does, and she has a vast collection. I mean, that, oh gosh, that girl. But she will do a very detailed deep dive on decks. So she's probably one of the first people I will do look for a walkthrough video on and watch that. And then I might look for a couple of others too, because I want to kind of do all my homework before I consider getting something, especially if the price point is higher. You know, you got to take more into consideration when it comes to that. But in terms of watching a review when you know that it's going to be just all glowing and rose-colored glasses because the person got it for free, and if you don't like that sort of thing, well, don't watch it. You know, nobody's telling you that you got to watch it. Don't watch it. And because in the reality is that people aren't objective, when it comes to that, and I believe that opinions, review opinions on products aren't objective anyway, because there's no, there's the opinions are fluid. Like it runs the gamut. Some people hate it, some people love it, some people are in the middle. Now when I was and then there was also a stink about people being honest about the price of something, when it's being reviewed, and people not disclosing whatnot. Now I think for the most part, like what I've seen, and I've watched a lot of reviews, I've done a few reviews myself, again, like on coloring books and art supplies and stuff. What I do, like when I do a review, is I'll talk about where I got it, and I will absolutely disclose that I got the product sent to me by the company, or that I was, that I did get it at a discount because I was a member of blah, 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 and whatnot. And I will provide a link. I may not always disclose the price like in the video, but I will provide the link, and I will say something like, You'll find the link in the description section and in the cards. Feel free to check it out, and you know, feel free to check it out. And then I'll disclose, like, if I'm an affiliate or something, and like if like I will get a commission or something, you know, through sales or whatever, you know, like kind of how I do when I present my Amazon affiliate thing. And I think by law you have to disclose that, if memory serves me correctly. But I may not always like say what the price is in the video, and it's not that I'm being dishonest. It's and okay, yeah, I suppose I could actually look it up before I make the video, but I figure if I provide the link to you know, to that product, and I say, you know, here's the link to it, here's where you can purchase it or check it out, you can see what the price is. Because I mean, also another thing too is the price may change, you know, from when I did that video until you know, if somebody down the line finds the video, say maybe 1, 3, 6 months after I did the review, the price may have changed. So, you know, or a sale may have been happening. So I just provide the link and just say, you know, check it out if you want to, and here's where you can purchase it. So it's not being dishonest. It's just things may not, the price may not be the same as it was like when I was doing the review. And also, you know, again, we're all adults. We're all adults here, and I don't think I have to hold people's hands like every step of the way. I mean, if you click on the link, you can check out the price yourself, and then, you know, you can decide if it's worth it to you. So yeah, I think people, in my opinion, I think, you know, from what I've seen, for the most part, people, you know, do their best to disclose what they need to disclose. You know, hey, I'm an affiliate, or I got this product for free or at a discount. I was a member of such and such, and they sent this to me. Here's a link. Check it out. You know, check it out as you wish. And, you know, people are capable of doing their own homework. Like, you know, the people doing the reviews kind of provide the preliminary steps, and it's up to the consumer to continue that research. It's up to the consumer to continue that research. And yeah, so I don't know. I think sometimes people want to complain just to complain. Not that there are bad reviewers out there, because, you know, maybe there's some reviewers who won't disclose stuff like where they got it. But I think for the most part, people do try to be honest, and they do try to touch on the things that need to be touched on. But, you know, follow the link, follow the information they provide, and do your stinking homework yourself. You know, like do the rest of that homework yourself, you know, and decide for yourself if that's a thing that you want to add to your stash. Yeah, so that is my story, and I'm sticking to it. I think I covered on everything. I hope I still have some friends after this. I still hope I have some friends after this, but that's my opinion. And, you know, you can choose to not agree with me. That's fine. But again, like I said in the beginning of the video, when you leave a comment, please be respectful and be courteous. You know, remember that there is respect and courtesy, and that there's just no reason to be just downright mean, you know. Yeah, so anyway, guys, that is that, and I hope you guys enjoyed looking at these decks as I yammered at you. I tend to babble, and I'm quite talkative today. I gotta say, I'm quite talkative today. But I hope you all have a wonderful day, and keep cool, stay safe, and enjoy the rest of your week and all that. And we will talk to you guys in the next video. All right, bye everyone.